Engaging the Existential Intelligence, Rethinking School Curriculum. If education is meant to develop the whole human being, then why do we rarely make space for the biggest, most meaningful questions of all? Why do classrooms often shy away from the profound? Questions like, why are we here? What is the nature of consciousness? Is there a greater purpose to life? When some students are naturally inclined to explore these dimensions of existence, could it be that learners with strong existential intelligence are often left out, not because their questions are irrelevant, but because the system is uncomfortable with their depth? If school only nurtures what is measurable, how will we ever value the intelligence of the soul, of introspection, of seeking meaning? Students with existential intelligence are natural philosophers, spiritual inquirers, and reflective thinkers. They aren't satisfied with surface-level answers. They're the ones who linger on a line of poetry, who wonder what lies beyond death, who read ancient texts or watch documentaries on quantum spirituality or New Age ideas, not because they're following a trend, but because their minds are wired to seek deeper truths. What if schools didn't push these inquiries aside as too abstract, but instead welcomed them as part of the curriculum? What if we allowed students to design abstract theories, debate metaphysical ideas, or reflect on moral and cosmic questions as seriously as we teach them to write essays or solve equations? These learners crave intellectual and spiritual exploration. Imagine a curriculum that offered opportunities to journal about the nature of identity, read and reflect on texts by philosophers, mystics, and futurists, or explore how different cultures and faiths answer life's big questions. What if we encouraged them to create projects that asked, what does it mean to live well? Or, how do different belief systems approach the mystery of consciousness? These aren't distractions from education. They are its deepest and most transformative possibilities. Existentially intelligent students often find comfort in abstract thinking, and many of them are drawn to New Age thought, spiritual channelings, or conceptual models that blend science with mystery. They may reflect on patterns in nature as expressions of divine order, or question the societal structures that dictate meaning. Rather than dismissing this as woo-woo or impractical, what if we honored their intuitive understanding that not all knowledge fits into a neat category? Shouldn't we be fostering big-picture thinkers? The ones willing to sit with uncertainty and wrestle with complexity, not just recite facts. If we fail to engage existential intelligence, we risk raising generations who know how to function, but not why. So we must ask, are we preparing students to participate in the world or to make sense of it? Are we creating thinkers or simply workers? Because when students are given the tools to ask big questions, to sit in the unknown, and to develop their own frameworks for meaning, they don't just become educated, they become wise, compassionate, and awake to the greater tapestry of human life. And perhaps more than ever, that's the kind of intelligence the world is longing for. Existential intelligence is the rare ability to ponder life's deepest questions, to contemplate meaning, existence, death, consciousness, and the grand mysteries that define the human experience. Students with strong existential intelligence are not satisfied with surface answers. They naturally ask, why are we here? What is the nature of reality? What is my purpose? Yet traditional education often sidelines these profound questions, focusing instead on facts, procedures, and tangible achievements. If education is truly about nurturing the whole human being, shouldn't it also embrace the profound longing for meaning that lives inside every learner? Imagine a curriculum where students are encouraged to grapple with the philosophical, ethical, and metaphysical dimensions of what they are learning. Where alongside history they ask, what does power mean? Alongside science, they wonder, where does consciousness begin? And alongside literature, they explore, how does storytelling shape our understanding of reality? Wouldn't such integration invite students to see education not just as the acquisition of knowledge, but as a journey of inquiry into the nature of existence itself? When existential intelligence is engaged, students develop depth, resilience, and an expansive capacity for reflection. They learn not only to question the systems they live within, but also to question their own assumptions, values, and aspirations. They become comfortable with ambiguity, willing to sit with the unknown, and curious about perspectives beyond their own. Over time, this shapes adults who are not just critical thinkers, but soulful thinkers, individuals capable of navigating complexity with humility, purpose, and vision. In professional life, those with existential intelligence often shine in fields like philosophy, theology, psychology, literature, education, leadership, counseling, and the arts, fields that require the ability to think broadly, reflect deeply, and connect ideas across disciplines. But beyond career success, nurturing existential intelligence cultivates wise citizens and compassionate human beings. People who recognize that the greatest challenges we face are not only technical, but ethical, philosophical, and deeply human. Isn't that the kind of leadership our world needs now more than ever? Engaging existential learners also builds inner resilience and spiritual maturity. These students are often willing to confront uncomfortable truths, to ask painful questions, and to explore the complexity of human suffering and beauty. If we give them space to do so within education, through reflective writing, philosophical debates, ethical inquiry, and explorations of world wisdom traditions, we empower them to anchor themselves not in certainty, but in the courage to keep asking, seeking, and growing. In a world that often prizes fast answers and superficial success, existential intelligence invites depth. It reminds us that education is not only about preparing students for a career, it is about preparing them for a life of meaning, reflection, and conscious contribution. If we continue to ignore the existential questions that live within every heart, we risk producing students who are successful by external measures, but internally adrift. Shouldn't true education teach students how to live wisely, how to endure suffering, how to find joy, and how to contribute to something larger than themselves? To nurture existential intelligence, schools must embrace the great questions as part of the curriculum. Let students debate ethical dilemmas, design projects around big questions like, what is justice? Or what does it mean to live a good life? Explore comparative philosophy, engage with new age and spiritual thought, and reflect on their own evolving beliefs through journals, dialogues, and creative expression. Existential inquiry should not be rare. It should be a living, breathing part of the learning journey. When we fully engage existential intelligence, we don't just create more thoughtful students, we cultivate philosophical citizens, ethical leaders, spiritual seekers, and visionary creators. We raise human beings who are not just prepared to work, but prepared to live with depth, courage, and profound meaning. In doing so, education becomes not just preparation for the future, it becomes an awakening to the fullness of being alive.